Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. Thanks for taking the time to support the channel. Hello, Good Game here. Pleased to be your host within this Magic the Gathering Arena deck guide video, showcasing a new build from the Aetherdrift Early Access event. Thank you, Wizards. We'll be playing Gruul Exhaust. This is a green and red aggro deck. You could maybe classify it as mid-range, but it's pretty quick. We'll be breaking down our deck list in depth, discussing strategies as well as synergies, then demonstrating all of these playlines within the event against some of the best players in the world. Literally, all of the creators and Pro Tour players are here exclusively, which is really exciting. And then, of course, we'll conclude with our wrap-up thoughts. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, become a YouTube member, but most importantly, kick back and relax. Alrighty, in Standard, we have 60 cards for Best of 1, supported by 22 land, a 2.5 average mana value. There are 21 creatures here and 17 non-creatures. The average mana value is a little bit inflated because we'll be casting the Frenzy for 1 and Lukka for 4. Alright, so now into the meat and potatoes. What we'll be building around here is the Exhaust mechanic, which is new to the set. And it's basically like Adapt, where we can pay it to level up our creature, but only one time. And building around Redshift, Rocketeer Chief for 2. It is a 2/3 with Vigilance, and it can tap to add X mana of any color, where X is equal to its power, which is really cool, and only to activate abilities, whether it be creatures, enchantments, artifacts, it all works. And of course, it will have Exhaust for 12, which is pretty extensive, putting any number of permanent cards from your hand into the battlefield, which really isn't our focus here, but it is, I guess, kind of nice if you get away with it. Really, it's the Vigilance tap for mana to utilize on abilities, and that's going to be the Exhaust abilities for us, right? And then we will also be reducing the cost of those abilities with Agatha of the Vile Cauldron for 2 mana as a 1/1. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost X less to activate, where X is Agatha's power. This effect can't reduce it below 0, or below 1, I should say. We can pay 6. Other creatures we control get +1/+1, trample, and haste until the end of turn. Right, so that's quite nice. So both of these creatures, to effectively reduce our ability costs, will need to accumulate +1 counters. But we also have the Boom Scholar for 3 as a 3/3, and Exhaust abilities of other permanents you control cost 2 less to activate, which can just knock them down by itself. Of course, this will have an Exhaust as well for 6. Creatures and vehicles you control gain trample until the end of turn, and put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature, making it, of course, a 5/5. Other Exhaust within the build will be the Draconautics Engineer for 2 as a 2/2 with Exhaust 1, giving other creatures haste until the end of turn, putting a +1 counter on this creature. And then, of course, for 4, creating a 4/4 dragon with flying, which is pretty cool. Then we have our Afterburner Expert, a 3 mana, 4 power, 2 toughness creature with Exhaust 4, putting 2 counters on this creature. And whenever you exhaust an ability, you may return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So some recursive nature there for us, which is quite nice. And then last, but maybe actually even least, the Stampeding Scurryfoot for 1 is a 1/1 with Exhaust for 4, putting a +1 counter on this creature and creating a 3/3. That's pretty good. So that's what we'll be doing with our reduction of abilities. Of course, leveling up our enchantment will also count as an ability for that level 3. Innkeeper's Talent for 2, and at the beginning of combat, on our turn, we'll put a +1 counter on a creature we control. And that's going to go on Agatha, that's going to go on Redshift, right? And this will increase their power and therefore their reduction effectiveness. For level 2, we can have permanents we control with counters on them, have ward 1, which is really nice. And then finally, level 3 for 4, if we would put a +1 counter on a permanent we control, or just a counter of any type, I should say. Only +1 counters in this deck, though. Put an extra one, right, which is pretty cool. That's going to help us out. And speaking of those counters, because that's kind of what we're on now, pushing up Agatha, pushing up Redshift, the Thunderous Velocipede for 3. This is a 5/5 vehicle with trample, crew for 3, and each other vehicle and creature you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it if its mana is 4 or less. Otherwise, it gets 3 of them, which is pretty doggone cool. So that's going to push up the whole team, right? But most specifically, our 2 favorites. And again, last but certainly not least, Halana and Alena partners for 4 as a 2/3 with first strike and reach. And at the beginning of your turn of your combat today, Junior, put X +1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is equal to her power. So once we get Halana out, we actually kind of shift these +1 counters from prioritizing on Agatha and Redshift to now going on to Alena and Halana, and then her ability goes to them, right? So you kind of double dip there, which is really nice. It's going to gain haste until the end of turn as well. And then I guess our last exhaust ability, which I kind of forgot to talk about, which comes into the whole shebang here. This is really what we're building around, is the Boommobile for 4, a 5/5 with crew 2. Whenever it enters at 4 mana of any one color, spend this only to activate abilities. Exhausts for 3+X, dealing X damage to any target, and then put a +1 counter on this vehicle, which is really, really cool. So if it has haste, you might want to do it via Halana, via Agatha, also via the Engineer. You may want to play that first main phase, right? But because Redshift has because Redshift has Vigilance, you may want to attack. First, get that damage, and then play Boommobile, and then you can tap Redshift for that mana to sink into the Mobile, right? So we're pushing up the Cauldron, we're pushing up Redshift, and we're playing the Scholar. That's all going to reduce the exhaustibility of the Boommobile, and then we can just like hit them for lethal, right? It's just a literal nuke. We've got some removal within the deck as well. For 1 mana, Road Rage, instant speed, X damage to target creature or planeswalker, where X is 2 plus the number of mounts or vehicles you control. We don't have a ton, but we have a few. Protection, defend the rider for 1, indestructible, hexproof until end of turn on creature we control, or create a 1/1 pilot that can crew 2 higher. Frenzy, 1 less to cast for each attacking creature, 5 damage to target creature, instant speed for 4 organically, and then Lukka for 5, but you can complete it for 4 with 2 less loyalty and 2 damage. For the -4, dealing X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control as you activate this ability, right? So we're pushing up our creatures, so this should be pretty good. But we also have the -1, creating a 3/3 token with Toxic, and +1, which is good for the exhaust, adding 2 mana to spend on abilities or cast creatures, right? So that's pretty decent for the deck as well, a little flavor for us. The Ridgeline is here for a creature land. It's a 3/4, gives something else +2/+0. That's fine. And then just, our lands. Fill it up, right? That's the deck. We've been killing it. We did a new deck for each of the mechanics, exhaust, cycle, and I think we did a vehicle deck, which was really cool. And the new set is better than I originally thought. When I first looked at it, I was like, wow, this is such a cookie cutter set. They just reverse engineered cards for the meta decks, right? But as I was able to, start theory crafting and building some of these decks and testing them for you, my opinion kind of changed, and I'm a little bit into it now. So really looking forward to brewing some new decks for you all. Thank you for watching. Enjoy today's gameplay. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, become a YouTube member, join the community Discord, but kick back, relax, and enjoy, most importantly. Cheers. All right, we will be drawing first. Some good land. And, there's some stuff here, right? We've got some removal, a couple of our creatures, which is nice. The Engineer is pretty decent for that exhaust ability. And Halana is nothing new. I'm sure you're familiar. Let's just take that before there's any protection on it. Let's play our Engineer. We pull a second Frenzy. Alena or else is good. And it can saddle. Oh, nice. For 2. Let's take the brawler. Hit for 2 to 18. There's a saddle. There's a hit. It goes to 3. Land out. Let's hit for 5. The +1 counter, I think, makes it worth it. The haste, we could have, you know, just held up, defend the rider. But I think that +1 counter triggering every turn is really good. Hit for 4, they go to 5. Can we get our 4th land? New. Let's take their flyer. That's really good. Hit for 5. Hold up our defend the rider. This is going to get hit with the offspring, so there's 2 of them. Then another Soul of Alcaria. Land is good. Now we have a couple different options here. I think I want to go with Halana. Let's swing in. Maybe we get a double block. Just take our hit down to 1. We do have reach here as well as first strike. Good game. Easy peasy. Very nice. All right, on the draw. Scurryfoot is a go. Rocketeer is a go. Looking for our 4th land. Alright, we do push up our Scurryfoot here. And hit for 2, as well as making a 3-3. We lose our Rocketeer, which is oh so sad. Oh, they're really going for it. I'm worried this just gets eaten alive, but I definitely want to play it first. Ew, that's a nice one there, right? No attack here. We're on thin ice. They're only at 1. Let's go down to 13 here. We go to 2. So that's to 14 and they draw 2, right? That's really good. Very nice. Okay. Do I have to kill that? Let me do my thing. So we have 4, which is 1, and then 4 more, which is 5, right? Maybe force the block. And this was a really good match. Really close. We're down to 3 here. Let's see what the next turn brings. Good match. Four cards in hand. Oh, it joins up. Beautiful. We're lucky they don't already have one in play. They would lose 2 life on this. Does it have haste? No haste. Down to 2, and that's a good game, right? Bam! Still got it, baby. All right, this hand is cooked, but we're going to keep it. We have a turn 1 and 3 turn 2s. So let's see if we can find our 3rd and 4th land. Gorge pretty good. I'm gonna take Ginger Brute, reduce the number of artifacts that they have available to them at all times. Let's just still send it in. They block, they block. No land. She's a brick house. No landy landy. Start your engines. I gotta give him a nice for that. That's the first full speed, or I guess max speed I've seen. You gotta love it. Oh, I would have copied that. Oh, copied this though. Oh, double nice. It just sucks I bricked, I guess. Their deck's cool though. Crazy. That's crazy, bro. Ay, ay, ay. Down to one. You gotta survive. Finally got that third land. I love this guide like copying these artifacts though. That's so cool. Oh, that's nasty. Woof. That's a lot of damage, dude. Going first on not great land. But we've got 1-drops, so we must keep. In on one with our Scurryfooty. Let's hit. Cauldron is a go. Oh, you got smelly breath. Meow. What does this do? When it enters, 1 damage to, and you gain 1 life. Oh. Nice, okay. I don't think this is worth the kill here. We are progressing. We just need that 3rd land. And 4th land. I don't like it. I'm not playing that game. It's yours. You can take your speed. Is this a lizard? It is a lizard. You should have blocked. That's a tough one, huh? I think it's a 2 damage spell though. Now they're tapped. I guess I'll just take that. Right? Ooh, okay. Less damage. Well, they can't take them both with one card. But they can choose. Well, they'll trade with one, take the other. It's Rage, and it survives. Wow, that's brutal. That's brutal. Just chilling, exhausting with cost reduction. If we can just get some card advantage, that would be cool. 99 already. That thing's got Death Touch and Trample. Everything's got Death Touch somehow. Why did these all... Oh, from the speed. Let's take that. Don't think I care. They both die. There's Death Touch. It's not bad. We have Vigilance. We can hit. Defend and then replace. That doesn't give Menace, does it? Just haste. Death Touch takes it. Okay, the land. Let's get Vigilance out to attack, because then it can defend as well, right? Okay, for 4. And then tap to power this up. Which is cool that you can actually use it on the talents, right? Play some new cards for them. I guess we should play that post, right? So this is 1, 2. We have 3. Then we have 4. Right? That's 10 in total. Should be 7. We should have done this post-attack, but here we are. And hit the lethal. Good game. That was pretty cool. Well, oakley dokley then, Batman. Pretty cool deck, HGG. Have you been practicing your deck building the whole time you've been away? Because these decks have been so good. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This was Gruul Exhaust from the Aetherdrift Early Access event. Do you have any recommendations for the build? Yeah, well, it's pretty new, but, you know, we could always improve our decks. No, you can't improve this. It's perfect. Just kidding. Maybe a better question to end the video is, what other decks can we build to showcase on the channel when the set comes out? Are you interested in some of these newer builds? Are you interested in fine-tuning the meta decks? Do you want some free-to-play stuff? Let me know. And then specifically, like what kind of cards are you interested in within those builds, and I can build around them, right? So cheers. Have a magical day. Thank you so much. Do take care, and I'll see you soon.